Welcome back. So I had to redo this video just because there was a lot of interference and stuff like that. So, box office report. And it's the last box office report of the month of August, as it turns out. And I did not... there's some surprises that came out of this week's box office. So number one, the one I expected, Don't Breathe, came in $26.1 million. That was an obvious one. Suicide Squad managed to stay in number two, though, $12.1 million. And don't know if that's a cat making that noise or whatever. Kubo and Two Strings actually jumped up in the box office to make number 3 at 7.9. Sausage Party stays at number 4, 7.6. And Mechanic Resurrection rounds out at 7.5. So what's the box office say this week? Well, Don't Breathe expected that. It's 9.9 million is what it's made on. Low-budget horror film. I've been getting really good reviews. Horror fans and critics alike are loving it. Most people are enjoying it. So that didn't surprise me. It's profitable now. They might even consider making a sequel or something like that. Not much to say on that. I think it's made like 28 million something worldwide, so good on it. Suicide Squad is one of the surprising ones. See, I thought it would be at number 3 simply because we had 2 new releases out with Don't Breathe and The Mechanic Resurrection. However, I guess I underestimated Suicide Squad's staying power a little bit because it's been in the Guardians of the Galaxy syndrome where there's just not a lot to compete with it and to really take away from its box office. And I thought Mechanic Resurrection being the new Statham action film would do that. We'll get to why that's not the case in a little bit. But, no, good on it. And that means it's probably going to... It's probably going to hang around in a top 5 for another couple weeks because there's still just not a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, we've got Morgan coming out next week, or this week. We got Magnificent Seven and Miss Pettigrew's Home for Peculiars coming out later in the month. But we just don't have enough that's really going to slam into Suicide Squad that hard and still going to make money. It's made like $635 million worldwide so far, which is why I called the predicted number of around 650 million, a little bit of a bullshit number for how much it's going to end up making overall. Given this, if you add these domestic numbers plus the foreign numbers that it's also pulling in, it's probably going to end up more like between 650 to 7, maybe even 725-ish, I'm guessing. But I could be wrong. It's definitely going to make more than 650, that's for certain. And Warner Bros. Got to be happy with that because that means that while they still need to work on maybe their storytelling and a couple of decisions and less studio interference, the cinematic universe is healthy enough financially that's going to be able to keep going. And therefore, the longer it keeps going, the easier it's going to be to make course corrections along the way when you need to. Kubo and Two Strings. I'm also glad Kubo and the Two Strings was able to... actually, what was it? Daily. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was last week. Believe it was either number 2 or number 3 last. No, it wasn't number 2. It was either number 3 or number 4 last week. So it either stayed the same or went up, which good for it because this movie's not getting enough credit. It's made like 27 million worldwide so far. Yeah, it needs to be appreciated a bit more. Now, I don't know if it's been released in all markets yet. That's the thing. And maybe it's got a couple foreign markets that's going to do really well. But it's $60 million for its budget. It's not going. It's definitely going to be probably on like the best animated films for the Oscars list. But the thing about Studio Ghibli, the people who made this, I mean, they did it through Sony. No, excuse me, they did it through Focus, which I believe is a substantial Focus Features. Do they go through anyone? I guess not. Huh. But I thought they were like through Warner Bros. Or something. Oh well, anyway. Yeah, apparently the person who owns or is the head of Studio Ghibli is very wealthy, and he even came out and says making the big bucks is not what we're focusing on. We're focusing on making good, imaginative, quality films. And give them credit, man. That is what they are doing. We'll have to see how all this does long run, though. Mechanic Sausage Party. It stands at 88 million right now. Nothing more to say on that except because we're so. The only thing I can say in that is that we don't have a lot of comedies out right now. Period. I mean, we got Bad Moms. We got this, and that's pretty much it. Actually, I mean, we got like Secret Life of Pets. It is a comedy, but it's a kids film. Both of those are hard R-rated comedies. So I guess there's a hunger for that, and 88 million so far. I mean, there's 7.6 million. It's going to do it's still a new fight. It's definitely do over 100 million, which is awesome. Mechanic Resurrection. Now, if you had talked to me last week and said Mechanic Resurrection is going to come in last, I mean, top 5, but 5th place, I'm like, really? It's a new Statham movie. It's an action movie. A lot of people like Statham. Mechanic, at least one must have done well enough to warrant a sequel and stuff like that. So come on, I think it's going to come in number 2. That being said, fast forward 4 days later when I actually saw it, and I can understand why it only came in 5th place, why it barely made the top 5, and I mean barely. It's like 18,000 away from being the number 6 spot. So it barely made it in the number 5 spot. And I can understand, because while there's entertainment in the movie, it is a fucking clusterfuck of a mess. By the way, Mark and I were having this discussion in the review about when this movie was made, and we both actually felt like it was made earlier than, it wasn't made like, we felt it was like on the back burner for a while. And Mark was trying to explain why, the case that maybe Jason Statham taking the movies, and you can watch the review to understand where I wasn't understanding. I kind of got his viewpoint, but at the same time, I think he was just kind of in his own mindset on that. And then I actually looked it up earlier today when the movie was actually made. The movie was filmed 2 years ago. The movie is not that old at all. So it was made within the right time frame. So that makes this even more depressing movie. I think I ended up giving it a 3 or a 4. Go watch our review to understand what our actual viewpoints on that movie is. But yeah, just a very sad. It's made at like 40 million, so this is going to be a giant freaking bomb. Wait, was this Lionsgate and Sony? No, okay, Lionsgate and Summit, because Sony. I always pay attention to the films Sony does the films that Sony does, because as we all know, Sony nearly went bankrupt. So I try to make sure, I try to pay attention and see which of their movies is actually doing well, or are actually doing well, so that I can gauge how healthy the actual studio and possible future movies they do are going to be. Then we go into the other movies that made over $1 million. Pete's Dragon made 7.2 million, 7.28 if you want to be technical. Overall, it's now made 76 million. So, in a sense, it's made its budget back. It still hasn't made a lot. It still hasn't really made any money because, again, take marketing and the third out, and it basically hasn't made anything. But in terms of the actual number amount compared to its budget, it actually has made over its budget back. And it's, let's see, 7 million this weekend. It's only in its third weekend, plus adding foreign markets into the play and stuff like that. Actually, it's not doing too bad over the seas. It's made like 21 million. We'll see how it ends up. I mean, if this film could probably get to like 150 million, then it can. I would probably say it's a wash at that point. But we'll see how it ends. War Dogs, 7.2 million. It's made 42 million. Again, one of the scenarios where I believe it was said, I found it was made on $40 million. It's in its second week, so it's got a ways to continue on, but whatever. I've heard decent things about it, but just not my taste. Bad Moms, 5.7 million, 124 million worldwide. Good. They got to be happy about that. That's one of those it just made the money. That's what it did. STX Entertainment. I have no idea who they actually. Well, who are they exactly? What has STX Entertainment done? They have not done a lot. Hardcore. Oh, they did Hardcore Henry. Cool. Secret in Their Eyes, Free State of Jones, The Boy. Okay, The Boy was profitable. Boy was very profitable. The Gift, again, very profitable. Hardcore Henry, not so profitable. Secret in Their Eyes, no idea what that even is. Oh, that recently came out, like last year. And then Bad Mom. So they're, judging by the overall they're hit and miss right now they're about 50-50 right now. They're about 1-1. So, yeah, I mean, well, whatever. Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne is now the second highest grossing of the Jason Bourne series at 347.8 million. So 348, give or take. So, good on it. It wasn't terrible. It was just, it wasn't terrible. I'm glad to see that, it still can draw in the money, things along those lines. Boom. Then moving on. Oh, here we go. Ben-Hur made 4.3 million. 41 million is what it's made. Now, it's making more overseas, which is good, and probably hasn't been released in all markets yet, which is probably also good. But because the movie's made on $100 million, this thing, again, this is one of those things where it's probably got to make about $300 million just to break even, give or take. The marketing in, because they did put a marketing in, and marketing, depending on the movie, can be more or less, but it's generally about the same as the movie's budget. So it's that means it's about $100 million worth of marketing, which means just to break even, he's gonna make $300. That's not good. This thing's gonna bomb something horrible. Their best hope is that maybe gets to like 150, so they can say, okay, we lost some money, but it wasn't that bad. Who knows though? Let's see. Moving on, we got Secret Life of Pets, made under 3.6. Currently stands at $724 million. I can only continue to say how awesome that is for that movie, because that movie is very adorable, especially if you're a pet owner. You could really appreciate it. Hell or High Water made another $8.5 million, or made another 3.7 for 8.5. It's actually doing better weekend by weekend, which is interesting because it keeps getting more theaters. Southside with You just got released. The Obama meeting, Barack meeting his wife Obama. Okay. Florence Foster Jenkins made 300 even, 19 million.8. Okay. Star Trek Beyond, where does this currently stand? 242 million. On a $185 million budget. That just makes me so fucking sad. The movie doesn't deserve just this. Honestly, I really, truly believe that this movie just got screwed in its placement, in its release date, because it just had other things coming out against it. I mean, there's already things in the theater to just take away the box office. There was a lot of things coming up afterwards that was going to take away the box office. It didn't even. If it had, again, I think I may have mentioned this in the last video, but if it had opened with maybe at least 30 million more, or so, 60 million or more than what it opened with worldwide. It would have opened with 140 million worldwide. Then you factor in all this stuff, then it wouldn't have been so bad. I think then you could have maybe just called it even. But it's bombed. It's unfortunately and it made 200.24 million. It's still in over 1,000 theaters, and it's still making money overseas. So maybe it can break even. But I'm not holding my hopes up. Unfortunately, I don't have much hope, unfortunately. Then moving on to the movies that made less than $1 million. Lights Out made under 700,000, 125 million on a $4.9 million budget. That's like freaking Blair Witch Project, the original numbers. That's damn impressive. Finding Dory, 6.3. It currently stands at 929 million. I think that puts it at the 38th spot for all time. 1 second. Worldwide all time. It stands as the 38th highest grossing movie of all time. Jungle Book, by the way, also passed it was able to pass the 35th spot. It's now 595. It's a 959.8 million. So it stands currently at, and given another week, it'll probably pass the 31st mark with 960. But it's now the 32nd highest grossing film of all time. So Disney's got to be happy. Disney has to be just like, oh man, that 100 just lights a Cupid so good. So you're gonna Ghostbusters made a little over $500,000, 217 million. Again, whatever money it can make, good for it. But it's another one of those movies it's unfortunate bomb, which sucks. Now, again, I keep saying this, but that movie just got freaking unjustifiably panned. By people who didn't even go see it. Just people just wanted to complain about it to be whiny little assholes. Nerve, 47 million is what it's made so far. Good for Nerve. Not much else to talk about, really. I mean, let's talk about the BFG real quick. BFG is 153 million. Okay, it's bombed, but at least made its budget back. There's not much you can say other than that. There's also not much else to go over besides. There's really not much else to go over this week. That being said, let me just check the couple real quick. Let's see. So where is Legend of Tarzan right now? Legend of Tarzan, I think Legend of Tarzan has made awesome. 352.7, which is a lot more than I thought it was going to make. Then you got Conjuring 2. Yeah, Now You See Me 2. Yeah, those are all closed out, the amount of money they're going to make. But, yeah, so Yeah, some surprises this week. I really did not expect Suicide Squad to make as much as it did. It overperformed, basically, is what happened. And the mechanic, I'm 50-50. I'm surprised, and at the same time, I'm not. The me a week ago is very surprised. The me 3 days ago, not so much. So, yeah. Okay, this week, let's just remember what's coming out this week. This week, I know we have Morgan. I think there's one other one coming out this week. Hold on. We got Morgan. No, not that one. There we go. Morgan and the Light Between Oceans. Is that the one with Fassbender and Vikander? Yes, that is the one. Who I believe are dating in real life. Or is that... Yeah. Anyway. So... Morgan's been... thing about Morgan, it's been advertised really well online. I don't know how well it advertised has been in the theaters, because it comes out this week, and I haven't actually seen any trailers on TV for it, like TV spots. And Don't Breathe will probably do still really well in the following week. Light Between Oceans will probably be in the top 5, but I don't think it's going to make a great deal. So, if I were to put it, I'm going to say it's going to be Don't Breathe Again, then followed by Morgan. You know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to say Morgan comes in number 1, because Don't Breathe will probably take less than the 50% drop, but it will still take a drop. Morgan will be coming out fresh, and it's a creepy horror sci-fi thing, so anything could possibly happen. But I'm going to go with Morgan, Don't Breathe. I'm also going to say Suicide Squad is number 3. Kubo and the Two Strings, and then Light Between Oceans. I'm taking a wild guess on these ones. So, but other than that, yeah, that's what my thoughts on this week's box office are. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Also, ideas for who would wins, put those down in the comments below, too. We'll get to that eventually, or I will anyway. I do get to those. I do. Actually, I had to rearrange my who would win schedule because technically this Wednesday is still in August, so that would have thrown me off had I started September's who would wins in August or this week. I'm actually going to probably have a video up tomorrow for Magic-related purposes. Even though we got packs coming in this week, I still feel just the urge to do a video on that. Plus, it's going to be a superhero video. It's going to be a Morgan review, who would wins, box office as usual on Sunday the following, and any movie news I feel the interesting urge to talk about. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you folks next time. Have a good Sunday.